Okay, today we are going to look at Chapter 1, Section 2. How are our ecological footprints affecting the Earth? So the main concept is, as our ecological footprints grow, we are depleting and degrading more of the Earth's natural capital, which is not good. So the overall conclusion is this: we are living unsustainably. So human is violating the 3 scientific sustainability principles. I hope you still remember that 3. The first one is dependent on the solar system and then maintain biodiversity and chemical or nutrient cycling. So human has violated 3 of them and causing environmental degradation. You needed to know the definition of environmental degradation. Another way to say it is natural capital degradation, which means wasting, depleting, and degrading the Earth's natural capital. And this is happening at an accelerating rate. Human activities have degraded or overused about 60% of the Earth's natural services. This number, 60%, you also need to know, since with the numbers we would describe a situation more clearly than just by qualitative description. So 60%. This visual picture help you to remember what is natural capital degradation, which is also called environmental degradation. So such as climate change, did we cause this one? Yes. Did we cause soil erosion? Yes. So if you mention all those items in this diagram, we are guilty for all of them. When we look at pollutions, we can see they come from different sources. We can divide them into 2 big categories. One is called point source pollution. So this means the solution coming from a single identifiable source, such as a wasting pipe release the waste from a factory. But there's also pollution coming from non-point sources. Those are dispersed and difficult to identify sources. Examples are here. So this one is obvious, is from a factory. They burn something and then release air pollution. So those are identifiable sources, so we can regulate them. However, if you look at those trash in the water, I don't know, this is river or the ocean. So those are non-point source pollution. Why do we say that? Because those trash coming from everywhere on the land eventually get into the ocean. So you cannot identify a single source, say this is your fault. Basically, this is coming from everywhere. Now I want you to consider solutions for pollution. Obviously, we can do pollution cleanup, or we can do pollution prevention. Which one do you think is better? You might see this question in the multiple choice question of quiz and test. One new concept we are going to develop more in other chapters is called the tragedy of the commons. This one means degrading commonly shared renewable resources. So think about our resources. Some of them, they have open access, renewable resources, such as air. You cannot say those air belong to Connecticut, those air belong to America, or even those air just belong to certain part of the world. So everyone has the open access of air. And some part of the ocean belong to the same category. We also have shared resources, such as grasslands or forest. And then with the tragedy of the commons, people tend to use them just to think about no responsibility. If I don't use, you use. So eventually we overuse those resources. So tragedy of the common, named by a scientist called Garrett Hardin, I believe it's in 1968. So common property and open access renewable resources are degraded from overuse more than the site where privately owned resources. So what are some solutions? So the government can make regulations to limit the access or how much people use, using rate. Or you can give those areas to private owners, and then they take more responsibility than commonly owned area. But anyway, this is a part we cause environmental degradation. Let's look at what is ecological footprint. So this one is a measure of our environmental impacts. So the amount of biological productive land and water needed to provide a person or an area with renewable resources, and also to recycle wastes and pollution. So basically it's you need a piece of land, and then this land would provide what you need. And also this land would be able to absorb the waste you produce. So this is the ecological footprint. So there's several ways to do the calculation. So right now we mentioned 2 ways, okay? So the developers of this tool, one way is to measure the environmental impacts, choosing focus on the renewable resources only, although they are aware using non-renewable is also a problem, okay? And then in this way, other term involved is per capita environmental footprint. Just remember, per capita simply means per person. Another one, if they say a country has ecological deficit, that means their ecological footprint is larger than their land be able to provide. So larger than the biological capacity for replenishment. So American cause more environmental damage. So America is a country with ecological deficit. Remember, we talked about countries of developed and less developed. So they use the environment in a different way. So the data you're seeing on this screen is from 2012. And then when you see the unit, hectares, this is a size, a unit measure the size of the land. So 1 hectare is about 100 square meter. So it is about 1 football field, that big. So look at the top one in America. The whole country use 2,810 million hectares. And then individually per capita, this one use 9.7. So average American people, one person use about 10 football fields per year to support your need, which is ridiculous. And then if you looking at the ranking, obviously developed areas such as European Union use more, and the average, however, they only use half of America. Look at China, overall use a lot, but per person only use very limited amount. So this huge number is caused by the total population. So if everyone were to have the same ecological footprint as the average American now has, we will need more than 1 Earth. So that means we are degrading the natural resource. So for the natural capital degradation based on this consideration, so the estimated number of the planet Earth needed to indefinitely support our ecological footprint today is 1.5 Earth. We need this much for current use. And then if we go to 2030, we would need 2 Earths to support indefinitely for the population use. However, even today, if everyone on this earth would live a life as an average American has now, we would need about 5 Earths. So hope those numbers support the idea for you to understand right now our living style is not sustainable. There's another way to look at environmental impact. So this model is called impact equals population times affluence times technology. So the P stands for population. The size of a population will impact the environmental impact. And the affluence here simply means how much you consume the natural resource. So the more affluent a country is, the more natural resources they are going to consume. And then technology means they can have 2 ways. One is they are beneficial. That means green technology, such as solar panel, compared with harmful technology. We learned how to use fossil fuel. So in this model, they including both renewable energy and non-renewable energy for calculation. So in this diagram, roughly you would have an idea to know that population could be higher, could be lower. Consumption could be lower, could be higher. And then technology go both ways. And then for affluent country, they can develop technology, reduce their previous impact. So overall, the developed country would have a more impact because of their high consumption. And then the poor country, less developed country, would cause a problem because of their high population. Okay. And then if we look at China, so China has the largest population of the world, and then has the second largest economy. So by looking at China, we would have a better understanding of the world population in the future, have a quick picture. So with the rapid economic development, so now 2/3 of the most polluted cities are in China. So this is a price you pay for rapid economic development. And then projection for next decades, China would be the largest consumer for grain, for paper, for oil. If Chinese wanted to live a Western style life, such as everybody have a car, everyone has a 3-bedroom house, etc., it would not work. And also for the other 3 billion people in the developing countries, this does not work. We needed to look in a way to live sustainably. This is the last slide, okay, for this section. So looking at cultural changes can grow or shrink our ecological footprint. So humans have gone through several changes. Long time ago, we were hunters. And then we don't know tomorrow what we're going to eat. So we have gone through 3 cultural events, which caused population to grow and then also increase our consumption. Those 3 revolutions are agriculture, industrial and medical, and right now is the information globalization revolution. So what we need actually is a sustainable revolution. The end for now.